Hi everyone, and welcome to another replica airguns video. I've got a really nice gun here from Umarex. This is the Umarex Walther PPQ Pellet and BB CO2 pistol. I do want to mention right off the top, most of the guns that I buy are purchased by myself for these reviews. Now this is a little bit different. This gun was actually provided to me by UmarexUSA for the purpose of this review. So I wanted to thank them very much for supplying this gun and allowing me to review this gun for them. Okay, so let's get into some of the specifications right away. This is a BB and pellet shooter, so it shoots .177 caliber pellets and 4.5 millimeter BBs. It comes with two magazines, a metal magazine for shooting the pellets, and this is the standard Umarex rotary magazine that comes with many of their guns, so you can buy extra magazines very easily. It also comes with a plastic BB magazine. Now I didn't get the BB magazine, not really sure what happened to it. It's possible that I did lose it when I took it out of the box, that it could be my fault. So in other words, you won't be getting any specifications, any chronic testings for the BB side of this gun, but that's okay. This gun does have a rifled barrel, and typically with rifled barreled guns, I prefer using the pellets over the BBs. Now this is a non-blowback, mostly polymer gun, so the outside of it's polymer, but there's a lot of usage of metal on the inside of this gun. Now this does have Walther licensing and trademarks on it. It uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges. Again, it has a rifled barrel, and it uses the 8-round rotary magazines. This gun weighs 1.37 pounds. So it's not a lightweight gun. It actually feels very good in the hand. It has a nice weight to it. The fact that it has polymer construction on the outside really isn't an issue. Many real guns these days are utilizing more and more polymer components. I guess the idea behind it is a lighter gun is easier to carry. And what's kind of funny is a lot of air gunners tend to prefer the metal guns, myself included. I guess we feel that maybe it's more realistic, but the fact is, guns are going more and more polymer each and every day. This is a double action only gun, and it has a claimed feet per second of 360 FPS. I did want to mention that this is a fairly accurate replica of the real Walther PPQ. In many, many ways, I was very, very impressed with the detail that this gun had. All the trademarks and all the parts and pieces are really in the right place. Everything is very accurately reproduced on this gun. Now, not all the parts function like the real gun, but they're in the right places, and in a lot of cases they are working, with the exception of the actual magazine release here, but most of the parts actually function. Now again, this gun is made by Umarex. It's made in Taiwan. I can't really tell you exactly how this gun was packaged. Mine came in bubble wrap in a box. Mine was direct from Umarex. I'm not sure how they actually ship, and it may be different depending on where you're purchasing this gun from. Let's take a quick little walk around here and take a look at the gun from different angles. I'm going to show you around first. It's a nice looking gun. Like I said, it has a nice weight and feel to it. It doesn't really feel cheap at all. It is an inexpensive gun at around $69 MSRP. This gun is very affordable. Okay, so let's take a look at the left side here, and what do we have? Well, you can see we have the Walther markings on the actual slide area here. Now on the real PPQ, this would say, instead of saying P99Q, it would say PPQ here, so that's a little different. On the handle we have here the P99, which again would say PPQ on the real Walther PPQ. Now we do have this, what looks like a slide release, or slide catch and slide release, and what it does, now my magazine is going to fall out here, but that's okay. This is how you get at the magazine area of the gun. We'll just leave the magazine out for now. When you move this back, you have to do it with a fair amount of force, or it won't stay. So if you just sort of push it, well, just doing it now, but when you have the magazine in there, you do have to bring it back with a fair bit of force. So this is nice, because on the real PPQ, this looks pretty much exactly the same. So there's a lot of detail there. The trigger on this gun is all metal, which is nice, because it does require a bit of force to make this gun actually operate. So I'm glad that it's metal, or there would be a little bit of flex going on. Now normally this would be your magazine release right here, but it's actually molded into the actual trigger guard. Not a big deal. On the right side we have our safety, and again this is really very true to the real PPQ. It looks and functions very similarly to it. Now there's everything else on the side of this gun is molded again into it, into the plastic. We have our magazine release here again molded into the trigger guard. Alright, let's take a look at the bottom. Umarex did a really nice job of designing how you get at the CO2 and how you tighten it. You simply just pull this cap off, and it allows you access to the actual CO2 piercing screw and access to the CO2 here. Now this is just an empty CO2 cartridge. We'll just take it out. And you can see in here, now to close it up, again you would need to tighten this all the way, otherwise it's going to be in the way. And then you just simply close it by putting a little pressure on the back, and it closes it up. Top of the gun we have the sights, of course, and your ejection port. It's not really cut out because of the way that this is designed, but again you can see how your magazines just go in there, okay? And you see how you have to use a little bit of force when you're pushing it back, otherwise it won't want to stay. But it works very well once you get used to it. You have your sights front and back, and they both have the yellow dots. Very nice sights. They were easy to target in. This gun actually did pretty well in the accuracy portion of the test. And I forgot to mention one last thing on the bottom here. You have your Picatinny rail for attaching different accessories, lights, lasers, things like that. Now you notice that the barrel has the regular .177 caliber size hole in it, so it's a bit of a giveaway. With some of these guns, it's nice when they actually have recessed barrels, and so there's an inner barrel that's recessed a little bit, and so your outer barrel has a larger diameter. Adds a little bit to the realism. This gun doesn't do that. And it's possible that Umarex decided to go this way to get a longer barrel out of the gun, and that way they're getting maybe a little bit more feet per second from this gun. So that's probably a decision that they made. I also wanted to mention there's some accessories available for the Umarex Walther PPQ. You can get a full metal accessory rail that attaches to the accessory rail on the bottom and allows you to put, say, a red dot or different accessories on the top portion of the gun. And this retails for about $20 MSRP. There's also additional metal and plastic 8-round magazines for the BBs and the pellets, and they are approximately between $12 and $15 MSRP, and those usually come in 3 packs. Okay, so I have the Walther PPQ here by Umarex, and we're going to be doing the chronograph portion of this review. I'm going to be using some RWS pellets, and these are 6.9 grain pellets by RWS. And we're going to do 8 rounds through the rotary magazine. I'm not going to be doing BBs with this part of the review. We're just going to be using the pellets because that's the only magazine that I have at this time. And generally speaking, with a rifled barrel, I'd probably prefer to just use pellets anyways with this gun. Okay, so let's get to it. Shot number 1. 357. 327. Oh, we're getting errors again. 315. 319. 330. 305. 303. 303. There might be one more left here. That's it. So we're out in the last one. So we averaged anywhere from just above 300 and right up to I got 357 on the first shot. So that gives you an idea of what this is capable of. Now I did fire off several shots and the chronograph wasn't reading things properly. So it wasn't a completely full CO2 cartridge with the exception of the first shot that I took, which I got a 357 feet per second rating of. So not too bad. And now we'll move on to the target portion of this test. Alright, it's Mike here and I've got my Walther PPQ. We're going to do the shooting portion of this test. I'm going to shoot 8 rounds using the pellets and the rotary magazine. At my target downrange about 20 feet. And here we go. Start now. Safety off, of course. Whoops. And that should be it. We'll go take a look, see what the results are like. So let's talk about some of the pros and the cons to this gun. Well, it's priced very, very well. At $69 you get a pellet gun, BB gun, with a rifled barrel. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but the sights are even adjustable for windage on this gun. Reasonable feet per second, good usage of CO2. It's a very accurate reproduction of the Walther PPQ. The sighting on this gun is very good, which makes it very easy to shoot on target in a variety of different lightings. Now, even though this gun had a fair amount of exterior plastic, there's a lot of metal inside of the gun, which contributes to the overall weight and heftiness of the gun. I like the fact that the slide catch and the safeties are all metal and they actually function. They're not just molded into the gun. I like the way Umarex thought out how to access the CO2, making it really easy to get to, but also hiding all of your CO2 screws and things, again adding to the realism. And this gun did pretty good in the accuracy department. Had decent power and got good usage out of the CO2, so you really can't ask for too much more. Some of the cons about this gun, and there wasn't really a lot, but again, going back to the heavier use of plastic, there are going to be people out there that just don't like plastic guns. Well, if you can get over it, it's a good gun. I don't generally like plastic guns when they feel really lightweight, when they look like they're made out of plastic, when they feel cheap in the hand, but this gun does not feel at all cheap in the hand. It doesn't really look like it's made out of plastic either, and it has a really nice weight to it. Now, the trigger pull was rather heavy on this gun, and it did take a little bit of getting used to. Now, once you get past the break point, it becomes much lighter, and so shooting it accurately isn't a problem. But to shoot it really quickly, rapid fire, you're not going to be able to do it as well with this gun as you can with guns that have lighter trigger pulls. And the small diameter barrel on the front here, the recessed hole, is a bit of a giveaway. I would have liked to have seen it recessed a little bit, but then again, it may have robbed the gun a little bit of some of the power. Okay, well that pretty much sums up this review. Again, I want to thank UmarexUSA for providing this gun for me to do the review with. Make sure you check out my website, replicairguns.com. Check out our web store as well. I don't know if I'm going to have this gun. I don't have it right now in the web store, maybe down the road. It's pretty new. I'm not even really sure of the availability of this gun in Canada yet. It is available in the States. And again, I'm not even really sure exactly where it's available, if it's available overseas. But keep your eyes open for this gun. It's a really nice, well-designed, affordable pellet and BB shooter. Hope you've enjoyed this review. We'll see you next time, and take care.